Welcome to the Game Rage Music Show.
Ooh, yeah. There you have it. Back again. Episode number 20. 2-0 of Game Rage Music, also known as the Good Ass Music Show. My name is Josh. I'm fucking hyped. I'm pumped. I'm here today with Adam.
Howdy.
And we got a couple of things to talk about today, but one of them maybe being breaking news that we just interviewed the one and only Lana motherfucking Mac
Yes.
on the Without Censor podcast. And I will say that I thought it was fucking straight fire. I thought it was a fucking good time. We had a blast. Got a lot of good questions in.
Yeah.
And I just want to jerk ourselves off for a minute and commend ourselves for doing such a great fucking job. And to all of the Game Rage Music listeners out there, I don't know if we've talked about Lana Mac on here before. I think we have mentioned her a few times. I want to say.
I'm not sure entirely, but
whatever.
Now we can take the time to
Either way,
yeah.
we're still talking about it right now. So I just would like to shout out to her, thanking her for her wonderful personality and appearance that she did with us. It was great. It was fun. And also to everybody who's listening, if you want to check it out, it's going to go up probably, well, I don't know. I don't want to. I don't know. Is right now a good time to put it up? Because
I don't know. Let's just say maybe in the next 2 months, and that's even pushing it.
that's definitely pushing it. It's going to be out before the next 2 months.
Yeah, but sell.
Yeah,
Set the bar low.
Yeah, and undersell, over deliver. Right.
Yes.
That's the phrase. Yeah. So, anyways, be on the lookout for that. We will let you know when it goes live. Well, fuck, you'll know about it because it'll be all over the world. You'll see it on probably TMZ. You'll probably see it on fucking whatever. Billboard magazine may even do an article about it. I heard. I don't know.
Yeah. So just real quickly to summarize this woman, she's basically the Swiss Army knife for the Cosmica management and record label. Basically does everything there. Not to discredit anybody that she works with or whatever, but just somebody that is multifaceted, and somebody that is also working on developing her own business, which is Twin Wolf Entertainment. So that is her photo booth business that she just started, and hopefully, more great things will be on the way for her. And I think the reason we ended up highlighting her for our first episode is because I would go ahead and say that she is a personal friend at this point, and I've gotten to know her for the last 4 years, and I've definitely gotten to know a bit about what she does at Cosmica, and this is what the whole conversation is about, is just to acknowledge and recognize her hard work and everything that she does. But in addition to talking about some of her own personal endeavors with Twin Wolf Entertainment, and also being the day-to-day manager for DJ Rubase, which is her husband, that is somebody that is well versed in tech house music. And we do have information to share about Rubase, and I think if you are curious to find out about DJ Rubase himself, then tune into the episode. I'm not sure how soon we're going to release it. Hopefully it's before, I'm trying to think. I'd like to believe that we're going to release it before the end of January. But with the holidays and everything, it's just, we don't want to squander a good episode on, releasing it in Christmas, or around Christmas time, or even New Year's, and have nobody pay attention to it. Because I imagine the numbers will be taking a dip because everybody's going to be out on vacation and all that stuff. So I think we're probably leaning towards maybe releasing sometime in mid-January, around there, if I had to ballpark it. But please tune in for that. It's going to be a whole new podcast that we're calling Without Censored Podcast. And I think we have a few other guests that we're going to be lining up in the future. Not somebody like Lana Mack, who is from the music industry side, but we're certainly going to have an array of people that we'll be showcasing, and hopefully that you will be enjoying. Although we still need to line up those interviews, nonetheless, we will have those out as soon as possible for you. So let's see, what else could we talk about? Yeah. Almost took a nasty spill there.
Woo!
Yeah.
Man, I almost died.
Yeah. Almost witnessed the death of Josh on the podcast.
You know what though?
Might as almost turned into the last episode of the fucking Game Rage.
What a fitting way to die on live. But you would definitely, if I died while podcasting, you'd put it out, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right. No, I mean, listen, even if I would have ate shit right there, I know how to fall. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like
Hapkido.
yeah.
The Hapkido.
I would have just Hapkido rolled. I would have forward knock boped it and fucking been fine. I would have sprung up. I mean, yeah, I might be hurting like the next day, but
yeah,
I wouldn't have died.
Yeah.
So
anyways, I was just recapping people that we did this interview with a woman in the music industry. Oh, and you know what? Since we couldn't bring it up during the interview, I was just informed by Lana Mack that she will be. She did the graphic design for one of the artists that her name is Gabby Moreno, and she's being nominated for a Grammy this year. Not a Latin. Grammy.
Regular fucking full weight Grammy, right?
Right, and so they're placing her graphic design ad within Billboard magazine. I thought she said Billboard as in like they were getting a billboard to advertise this.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's cool to hear that because
she said, "No, you idiot, the magazine Billboard."
And yeah, it's just a cool accolade to hear about for her because as you'll come to know in the podcast or find out, she's done other great things. And it's so funny because we're talking about Grammys. She's actually done something for another Grammy winning, or rather, I think the appropriate phrase would be Grammy nominated artist, because Gabby Moreno has not won the Grammy just yet, but she is Grammy nominated. But
she did something for an actual for a Grammy award winning artist.
Yes,
and we'll leave that for you to listen to.
Yeah,
because
it's very cool. Like
it is a real cool story.
Yeah, so just be on the lookout for that, and hopefully we'll have that out maybe by I don't know. We'll say like mid-January. Worst case. Yeah.
I think it's probably more likely going up at the beginning of January, like the first week of January.
Yeah.
I think is when it's going to happen. But anyways, yeah. So moving on from that,
yes.
Adam, what is it that you want to talk about tonight?
All right. So it's become known that some of the people that are going to South by Southwest are being announced. So South by Southwest is a festival that happens in Austin, Texas. What months is it? It's March?
I think it's
March or April?
I think it was April.
April?
Wait, I'm looking at it right now. Hold on. It's March. Oh, yeah, it's March. March 8th through the 16th in 2024.
Right. Okay, so there's been quite a bit of controversy going on with South by Southwest if artists are, because I don't think they're paid at all. They mainly go out there to perform and I imagine network or showcase themselves to a very large audience. Presumably to take that like when they return to their home city,
right.
That they have done like a breath. What is it like? Trying to think of the phrase that they expose themselves to a breadth of people across different parts of the country because they're all flocking to Austin, Texas to check out new music and everything. But
okay, so I was just curious to see how much. So it's saying on here that artists, if you're a solo artist, you do get paid to perform,
but it ain't dick.
You get paid. Okay, so now they raised it from 100 to 150. Bands, it's now been raised from 200 or 250, I think, to 350. So that's what you get paid for your whatever your performance is, whatever your set, no matter how long, how little. everybody gets the same flat rate, essentially, if you are an artist that applied. Now, here's the other thing, is it does, if you want to apply to South by Southwest,
Yeah.
you have to pay, I think, a fee.
Yeah, it's
like an application fee.
I think it's like $50.
I'm trying to find out what that is right now while you're
Yeah,
talking. But sorry, go ahead. I just wanted to.
Yeah, it's somewhere between, I think, let's just say it's less than $100. I think it's
I don't
like
think it's over $100.
But again, this festival is one I don't even know what it is at this point. I don't know if it's a rite of passage for artists just to go out and say they did it, like they have it as a feather in their cap. But it almost, I don't want to say it doesn't mean anything, but if nobody's asking you to go, or if you don't have the cachet or the
juice,
the social capital, then it's like, what's the point of going, really? Because as Josh over here, the diligent worker of Game Rage Music, he actually did he did a rough estimate of what it would cost.
Oh yeah, fuck yeah,
and it's actually kind of like
it's astronomical.
It actually is a pain in the. I think it'd be more of a pain in the ass to go and make $200 or $400 or whatever the fuck the amount of money.
It was $350 is what you get.
$350 for as a band, right?
Think about it though. You're gonna have to, now granted, I don't know how much or how taxes are gonna work on that $350, but the government's gonna want to get their chunk of that. Now it's probably not much, if any at all, because depending on your band and how much money you make throughout the year, you may not even draw enough money to even get charged taxes.
Right.
But theoretically, if you did, then you'd have to pay taxes on that money. Or if you were a band and you distributed that money between, because the way we did it was a 4-person band, right? We said, okay, let's just have the Game Rage band or whatever. Let's just say is the theoretical entity. And there's 4 members.
Yeah.
You got a lead singer, a rhythm guitarist, a bass guitarist, and a drummer. All right. That's pretty much your general, dynamic or average setup for a normal-ish band.
Yeah,
right?
4-piece band, yeah.
Right. So for 4 people to go, okay, and then we were also essentially not undercutting it, but we were saying that you, as a low-end type band, likely that you're going to try to raise your stock to go perform at South by Southwest.
Yeah.
You're not going to be performing on the high octane days. You're not going to be performing on the first weekend, essentially, which as I found out during this research, the first weekend it seems to be, and again, I have no experience with South by Southwest myself personally, but based on the hotel and airfare prices and just general prices of shit that I could find during that first weekend, it seems as though the first weekend is definitely the hottest portion of the event. That the first, basically Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday-ish are astronomically more expensive. So I assumed in this math calculation here that you, as an artist who probably listens to us, you're probably not going to go playing on one of these days because this is going to be taken up by your major headline fucking acts that are just, huge. South by Southwest is probably paying them to be there, legit money to be there, or giving them a lot more perks than, let's say, your average person who has to submit an application. Like, these people were likely invited, not having to put in an application. So everyone else is probably going to get relegated to the second half, which would be not the second. Well, I guess it's technically the next week, but it's like the second week would be somewhere between that Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, of the next second week or next weekend, I guess.
Yeah.
So we just did this assumption that you got a prime time spot on Friday the 15th. Okay, that this was the day before the end, the final day, and you got like this. To me, that would be the prime spot on the second weekend. Would be like Friday night, because it's like everybody's just getting off of work. You're going at like 8, maybe 9 o'clock. Everybody's ready to party. People are showing up, getting drunk, whatever. And that's where you're going to probably have your biggest audience draw during that. And then obviously Saturday night, you're probably going to have the closing night. You might have a decent turnout as well, I would imagine. But let's just say for the purposes of this Friday night. So my assumption was that you would probably want to come in the day before, at least. If you were driving, 100% you'd want to come in Thursday. All right. And the assumption was also that you'd probably leave the next day. So for the hotel room, for basically you're having to pay for the night of the 14th and you're having to pay for the night of the 15th, and you're checking out on Saturday the 16th. $875 with taxes
for all 3 days.
For those, it's like 2.5 days basically. 3 days, 2 nights basically. That you're getting for that's with the taxes and the fees. So that's an out the door cost, $875.
Yeah.
So then we also looked at, if you were going to go, we were assuming that we were the band, the Game Rage band operates out of Southern California. So we just assumed you're going out of LA. So we did all the calculations for flight, and because we also did it for, car travel. We did it based on leaving from LA proper, or LAX really is where we did the exit from. So out of LAX, you can get right now, which is 3 months ahead of the event. I don't know if the prices go down or may go up as you get closer to the event, depending on how many tickets are selling or not selling on those flights to Austin from LAX.
Right.
But generally, the price for the ticket or for the airfare, oh man, did I not put the... Oh, it's $353 round trip per person. So that's what I did. I said United 353. I thought it was the airplane number. Okay, so I should put dollar signs next to shit. But so it's $353 round trip per person. Okay, so that's for a flight there and a flight back. And you basically, it's like a 4-hour flight. So it's pretty short. And this was nonstop. This was straight through, which was good because I found some connecting flights that were like 10 hours. It was like a 10-hour journey. And you're stopping in like all these different places. And it wasn't cheaper. It wasn't much cheaper. It was like $20 or $30 cheaper. So to me, not worth it. So $353 per band member, okay, is what you're looking at for flight. And that doesn't include your equipment.
Your luggage.
So that's one carry-on bag that you get. You get one carry-on, and I think you get one checked bag. So everything after that, and a checked bag is a backpack or a briefcase. It's not a drum kit. It's not, maybe you might get away with a guitar potentially as a checked bag if you just took all your clothes and shit in a backpack as your carry-on, and then you took your maybe instrument as, the check bag. You could probably get away with that now, but the difference is the drum kit. That's going to fuck everything up because the drum kit's
fucking heavy.
It's big, and it's not even that it's necessarily that heavy, but it's a large piece of equipment because there's multiple pieces to it. It's got to go in cases. So I could not find a number because none of that is based on something that you can look up. It's just when you're there at the airport, they're going to weigh it, they're going to measure it, and then they're going to determine how much they're going to charge you to send it out.
$2,000.
So I'm assuming you're going to pay at least the price of another ticket for that. Okay. So for just the drums, that's if you fly. So for this purpose of flying, it was $3,600 with the hotel and the fucking airfare and the cost of essentially food. Because I drummed out, you're spending $50 to $100 a day per person on food. Just if you're doing it cheaply, shit's expensive. You're probably getting mostly fast food, or you're trying not to eat at restaurants and stuff that are expensive, or you're going to the grocery store and you're just buying the cheapest shit you can get, shit that's about to expire, maybe.
Just fucking cigarettes and beer.
Yeah, you're povertying this shit. But so you're looking at low rent, $3,600 to fly. Okay. Now, and that doesn't include the drum set going with you, or if they want to charge you more for your banding, for your equipment, for your guitars and shit.
Yeah.
So that's the lowest end without that stuff. It's going to obviously be higher when you're bringing that stuff with you if you fly from LA. Okay. Now to drive, it's 1,400 miles one way. So you're looking at obviously 2,800 miles total round trip.
That's from here to the top.
That's from LA. That's from LA to Austin, Texas. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's from Southern California, LA area to Austin, Texas, straight away. So realistically, you're likely going to you have some sort of if you're a 4-piece band that has equipment, you probably already have some sort of a vehicle that gets you guys around.
Yes.
was going under the assumption that this was some kind of a van, whether it be a cargo van, a minivan, whatever. Generally, those usually get around 15 miles to the gallon. So I did a calculation based on the average price of fuel. So what I did is I So the smart marks out there who were going to check my work here, they can know what I did. So I took in LA the average price of fuel. I took the average price of fuel in Arizona. I took the average price of fuel in New Mexico, and I took the average price of fuel in Texas. I combined them all together and did an average of what that number would be. And so the number I got was $3.14. So I felt that was a pretty fair, accurate accounting, because you're obviously going to want to go on a full tank. So you're going to fill your first tank here.
Right.
Right. So
hey, if you don't get your first tank, you're not going shit. You're not going anywhere.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you're going to be paying the higher California gas, right? But that should get you all the way to Arizona easily. Should get you easily there to Arizona, or your first out-of-state fill-up spot.
Yeah.
So once you get there, you can fill up, and you're going to be paying that lower and closer to that $3.14 average. So if you're looking at getting 25 miles per gallon, or I'm sorry, let's do 15 miles per gallon, because we're figuring it's just like a Ford Econoline type van or whatever.
Yeah.
You're getting about 15 miles to the gallon. You're going to use, just driving the 2,800 miles, you're going to use 186 gallons of gas, which is going to cost you $586.10 at the average price. So you're going to roughly equate to, just assuming cost of whatever up and down a little bit, the fluctuations, you're probably going to spend around $600 just in fuel.
Yeah.
So, and that's, that's round trip. So that's not,
That's $150 for each person.
right. So if you divide, so now when we get into the driving portion, including the cost of food, which, like I said, was, you're looking at $50 to $100 a day per person. Now, when you drive, you are going to add on basically an additional day to 2 days of this excursion, because now I've done the drive from Austin, Texas, from here in Corona to Austin. Okay.
Yeah.
I've done it myself. So I know exactly what that's about. So I can actually comment on this. Now, coming out of LA, sure, it's going to be a little bit different. It's going to be a little bit maybe a little bit longer. Maybe you're looking at a couple hours, not a fucking meaningful amount though. But it says 20 hours on the Google Maps, right? When you decide to do this, 20 hours is a rough estimate, and it doesn't account. This is one thing that I didn't fucking understand when I did this. I thought we were going to get there in 20 hours. It's going to be great. It doesn't account for people having to stop to take a piss. It doesn't account for, hey, I'm hungry. Let's stop and get something to eat. It doesn't account for, fuck, we've been sitting in the car for 5 hours straight. I just need to get out before I fucking murder one of you. All right. Doesn't account for any of that shit.
Yeah.
So in reality, when I did it, and we did it when we went in a fucking Ford, a really like tricked out Ford Explorer. We rented a car, right? Because I didn't want to put 2,800 miles on my car.
Yeah.
And we wanted something that was bigger and had more space. So we got, which, if you're in a van, you're going to have enough fucking space. So, but we did that, and those seats were comfortable as shit. They were like massage chairs, heated and ventilated. You're not going to have that in your fucking cargo van that you're driving out to fucking.
Yeah.
There. So you're going to be a little bit more pissed off. But even with that being said, we drove it straight through. We took turns driving, and some of you would sleep in shifts, and we would dick around, and we made it there. Now, it took us roughly between 24 and 25 hours. I don't remember the exact amount, but you can expect to add on from whatever time it's telling you. Expect to add on, if you're going to drive it straight through, at least another 5 hours with pit stops, and especially if somebody's got to take a shit. Because listen, you're going to be gone for a whole day.
Yeah.
So if you guys didn't all time it just right,
yeah,
and someone's got to take a shit, and you're stopped for 45 minutes because they're taking a hot dookie, you're just going to have to wait. So, and nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Shit happens. So you're going to need to leave if you're performing Friday and you want to get there Thursday, so you can, especially if you drive, because I'm going to tell you right now. So the thing we went to, we drove there, we got there at like, I think we left the day before. The event started on a Friday. We left on Wednesday in the evening, and we left at like 9 p.m. on Wednesday. We got there Friday morning at like 3 a.m. I think is about when we got there.
Yeah.
And so our travel time took a little bit longer. No, I don't even think we left we might have left at midnight. I think we left at midnight on Wednesday going into Thursday. We left around midnight.
Right.
And then we got there at like 3 a.m. on Friday morning.
Right.
So it took us basically 23 and some change. It was like 3 something we got there. So it was like 23, 24 hours, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
And so we got there and the event started later that day I think it started like 11 a.m. So we had a problem with checking into the hotel because it was a pain in the ass. They figured it out after like an hour, got checked in. It was like 5 a.m. by the time we got in there. And we just straight went the fuck to sleep because we're all dead. We just took turns sleeping in the car, driving for 24 hours. Plus, it sucked. But it was fun. And then also you got to account for stopping at attractions because, listen, this is, maybe you could save that for the ride home, but you're going to probably be dead and not looking forward to the drive back.
Oh, yeah.
And you're just going to want to get through it. So I would say give yourself plenty of fucking time and leave at least a day and a half early. And then worst case scenario, you get there before you can check into the hotel. You got a big ass van. You can just sleep in the fucking van, all right? Or sleep in the car, whatever you're in. Just sleep in the car. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
So you get to that point where now you're looking at driving there. You're performing Friday, so you're leaving Wednesday, and you're performing Friday, and you're checking out from the hotel on Saturday, and you're driving back. So you're probably not going to get home until Monday. And I can also say for some reason, the drive back went way faster. I think it's because we got all of our touristy stop bullshit out of the way on the beginning. I think we made it home in like 18 hours on the way back. We basically just drove straight through. I think we went to a store and we bought food. We bought snacks. We bought a big ass box of chips. We bought a shit ton of Gatorade. I think I bought a cooler at a gas station.
Yeah.
And we filled it up with ice and we threw in a shit ton of drinks. And we basically only stopped to piss and get fuel. And that was it. And booked it home. And like I said, we got home in like 18 hours because I did like 80 all the way.
Yeah.
And so it's possible for you to kind of make up that extra. So you could probably only maybe spend 40 hours ish driving during this time. But like I said, you're going to want to get there earlier or the day before at least so you can rest because that drive, people want to sit here and say shit. Driving is fucking tiring, regardless of, you got to constantly pay attention. You have to be hyper vigilant and you're operating a fucking vehicle. So you have to pay attention. And so even if there's 4 of you and you take shifts and you switch every 3 hours, that's not a bad deal. That kind of makes it easier, but it's still going to fucking suck. So at the end of it, you're still looking at going in the car. $2,800 is what you're looking at if you drive with the cost of fuel and everything. And then including the extra $50 to $100 a day per person for food.
Yeah.
Because you're going to basically tack on an extra day and a half, maybe 2
Right.
on each end because of you having to drive.
So the trade-off for flying versus traveling by wheels is you have the luxury of throwing all your fucking equipment in one fucking car.
Yeah.
But you might end up hating each other by the end of the trip.
I mean, that's true.
And you save, I think you save on gas, I suppose, by traveling, right? As opposed to paying for the flight itself, round trip, which is more of a convenience, but then you might be coughing up more because for the equipment itself, then and you're kind of paying you're paying a premium to save your time essentially. 4 hours versus 24 potentially plus. But the experience of
that's true.
The who the fuck knows what's gonna happen in those 25 hours of driving? Dude. That's unaccounted for expense. Transmission blows out.
Oh shit.
Tires blow out. So it's like, I don't know, which one would you rather prefer? I almost would just say I'll pay the extra money for the flight just so I know I can get there on time. Maybe I could just leave the day before and just leave it at that. But then you can also deal with the loss of luggage, and that would be a pain in the ass. But
yeah, because what if they lose your drum set, or what if they lose one of your bass? Now, granted, you could go to fucking the local guitar center and you could probably buy the cheapest bass they got for fucking $250.
Yeah.
So you're not going to be out a whole lot, but then you're playing with shittier equipment that you're not used to. And, could that affect your performance and maybe determine whether or not you get signed or make any new contacts or whatever? Yeah, it possibly could. So but you're taking that risk as well. So I don't know what the right answer is.
I feel like the road trip route for South by Southwest, it might just be worth the experience to find out what it's like to be on the road.
That is true. I mean, if your band hasn't done an out of state
Road
if you haven't
trip.
played out of your local area,
Yeah,
you guys might want to do this.
because it.
Well, A, you'll save a little bit of money, and then B, it may actually help you determine if you want to stay together as a band, because
the ride or die.
if you can't fucking do this road trip with the people in your band,
Right.
you guys probably shouldn't be performing together.
Right.
Because if you do make it, you're gonna have to go on the road. You're gonna have to do shit, and at first, you're not gonna be able to have your own buses, so you're gonna have to fucking travel together.
I got an idea for a story.
All right,
Just thought of it right now.
fuck yeah.
We need to write a story about a band here in California that it's got a little bit of a buzz going, right?
All right.
And the whole movie or the whole story revolves around this whole trip. And by the end of it, they don't even fucking
They break up.
they
at the
break
end.
up. They break up at the end. But it's like, man, you wouldn't even at the end of it, they're like, they're still gonna be friends or whatever, right? Like,
Yeah,
it's just
They're
the band's not gonna work, right?
yeah.
But they're like, man, we fucking had a hell of a time though. Like, that was a lifetime experience right there.
It's basically The Hangover meets a band road trip.
Yeah, dude. Because I mean, maybe you start doing some real wild shit, like, dude, if the transmission blows out, he's like, dude, that's my fucking car, and then you start bringing up like old friendship shit, like old
beefs.
old dirt, like. Because I mean, dude, I don't know. I imagine shit like that happens for bands where, you know, you start talking about the dollars and cents, like who paid for what and all that shit.
Yeah.
You can get real nasty, I imagine.
That's true. It could.
And I think it would make for a great drama that they're trying to race to get to this fucking thing.
Oh,
and then
man.
and then they like, you know, they actually make it and they perform and whatever, and like nobody shows up. They're like, fuck, man.
What a great swerve at the end.
Yeah.
It's like you think, oh man, everybody's rooting for them. They go through these ups and downs, these trials and tribulations during this road trip, and
Yeah.
they finally make it to their destination.
Yeah.
And they get there and no one showed up. And they lose,
Yeah.
and they're just like, fuck it. And that's the end of the movie. We're just breaking up.
Or we have there's a little sliver of hope, and somebody approaches one of the members that maybe is like the real talent of the group.
yeah.
He's like, let's make a deal happen or
And
whatever.
then that's the sequel.
That's like, yeah, hey, shit, maybe
Shit, man, this is gonna be a trilogy.
yeah. I'm glad we actually have this on recording, so if we actually fall through on it, we came up with the
Well, if someone else steals it from us, then we can be like, hey, nah, we fucking came up with this. Go fuck yourself.
this is our
Yeah.
intellectual property, you sons of bitches.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Fuck, dude, that's a good idea. We should do that. You know what? I'm gonna talk to the author, and maybe because he writes scripts too, so maybe we can fucking make this happen.
Yeah,
somehow.
maybe I can stir up some internal band problems that I've encountered myself.
Oh yeah,
Firsthand experience and
use those as
yeah, maybe we can create
fictionalized versions.
yeah.
Oh man, that'd be cool as hell.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
We'll make a fake band, maybe make some fake music too for this band or some shit.
Oh, I already did it. I made Millennial Frog music. That's easy shit. That's peanuts.
Yeah. So,
Damn.
anyways, that's we'll put that.
We'll put that on the back burner
Yeah,
for now.
we'll pin that for later.
Pin that for later. Yeah. So I do think that you're right. I think that the road trip version is probably better for most bands.
On multiple levels. It's like the personal experience.
Yeah.
It's cheaper, maybe depending on how good
You're
the
probably
car
going to
is.
save like $1,000 to $1,500.
Yeah.
Which
and you get to see all, you know, the continental US, like, or a portion of it, maybe a fourth of it. Like you're driving through California. Well, if you're from California,
yeah.
cutting through Arizona and New Mexico,
Yeah.
all the way through to Texas, right?
Right. So, you know, you're basically just taking the 10 freeway all the way.
Right.
For the most part.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you're going to change up a little bit when you get into Texas to go up to Austin, but yeah, for the most part, you're just taking the 10 freeway all the fucking way.
How was that when you actually got to Texas? Because it's all flatlands,
Dude,
right?
okay.
Did you get bored at something? You're like,
yes.
fuck.
I'm telling you right now.
You're just like pistol to your head, dude.
So that 24 hour trip,
yeah.
I would say about 14 to 16 hours of it was just in fucking Texas.
Oh, good Lord.
Because when you get out of because it takes maybe, I don't know, I'd say it took us about 3 hours, maybe less, to get out of California, to get into Arizona.
Yeah.
Once we crossed over into Arizona, because we crossed over into Arizona, it was still dark out. Then when we were still in Arizona and we were getting closer to New Mexico, that was when it started to get a little bit light out, and then it was full daytime. We crossed into fucking New Mexico, and then we crossed straight into Texas during that same day. And then it was Texas all the fucking rest of the time. So it was maybe, like I said, maybe 8 hours of it was driving from California to the border, to the Texas fucking border of New Mexico and Texas.
Yeah.
And then it was just all fucking Texas. It's all flat. There's a lot of nothing. A lot of periods of jack shit where the 10 freeway becomes essentially a 2-lane highway where there's 2 lanes, one in each direction, and you're just driving. And when you're doing it in the middle of the night, there's no exits, there's no street lights.
Yeah.
There's just your headlights. And I will say, we would stop off because there'd be there's nothing. There's no rest stops for. There was one sign that we said no rest stop for 120 miles.
Good Lord.
And sure as shit, there was nothing for 100. There was not even a town to get off at in 120 miles.
Yeah.
So the exits that they have are fake. So, here when you get off the freeway, it's a freeway exit, you get off and you go into a town, right? It's a freeway with a bridge over it, and you get off and you go, and it's a cul-de-sac, and there's nothing. It's just empty fields, a cul-de-sac, and all you can do is turn around and go back to either the exit or entrance you can go back to the freeway in either direction. That's all there is.
Yeah.
So, and it lets you cross over the freeway for some reason. So, in case you want to go to, because that's why the bridge is there, in case you want to change directions. Yeah. So that's a lot of Texas, is a lot of that. And if you got to piss, and I will say it was cool as shit getting off the freeway in the middle of the fucking night when there hasn't been a town for fucking 80 miles.
Waiting for Leatherface to come out. And
it is scary as shit too, and in some cases.
Yeah.
But when you get off the freeway, like when you have to take a piss and you just pull off, I mean, you're literally right there off the side of the freeway. And there's fucking semi trucks fucking buzzing by, and not a lot of cars, but still traffic nonetheless. The light pollution is zero. And I can tell you, man, living in Southern California, you don't really appreciate it. You don't get to see it until you go to somewhere like that. And I've been to Big Bear. I've been to a bunch of places in the state. I've been to other states, but the city portions of them, I haven't ever really been to the rural sections. And so when you're out there and you look up at the fucking night sky, man, and there are some spots here in California like Idlewild and Joshua Tree, Big Bear a little bit, but it's not as pronounced, I guess, as this. But man, when you see those pictures of space and it's all the colors and it's like purple and fucking like all the stars and shit.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it looks like. And me being, I guess I'm a fucking city boy, as they fucking would call me. I've never really, I haven't experienced that in my home ever. I just see little dots in the sky because of all the light pollution that we have. We live in fucking cities. So, especially here in Southern California, you're not really getting that because there's light pollution that ruins the atmosphere or whatever. And so when you're out there, man, it is a hell of an experience to take a piss off the side of the freeway and look into the galaxy, man. It's fucking weird. If I was high, I would have been fucking probably having an existential crisis at the moment.
You probably would have shot on sight.
Oh, definitely would have shot things on sight for sure. But yeah, it's a good experience.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's cool. And the vast swaths of nothing, and you will get bored just staring at it's the long grass from Jurassic Park, The Lost World. Like,
yeah.
Every time we were running, you remember when we were kids and you'd be running next to or you'd be driving and you'd have that did you ever have the ninja? Like there was a little ninja that you'd see that would run and like jump and parkour from building to building. Like you play this little game.
I've heard about that, but I don't. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, or you'd have a person or somebody like a Power Ranger, whoever.
Yeah.
So I was doing that and there was just velociraptors fucking running next to the car, popping their heads out as we were driving when I was not driving, obviously, but yeah.
So now as for the arrival, so this is the part I think that is not in defense of South by Southwest, which would be that just for the expenses that we just talked about, we didn't even talk about the submission fee, which is probably less than $100. I don't know what it is. I think for an artist that, let's say you have like maybe several thousand followers, is it really worth it for you to go out, to drive all the way to Texas or to fly all the way to Texas?
Oh my God. All right, hold on. I can't believe this is fucking real, but it's a non-refundable $220 entry fee.
Oh my God. I thought it was going to be less than $100.
So they're paying you just a little bit more than what you paid. And that's if you get accepted.
Yeah.
If you don't get accepted, you don't get that $220 back, man.
But also people drive out there to play in like
bars and shit adjacent to that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So maybe.
I mean, shit, honestly, that might even be the move.
Yeah.
Is maybe send your shit to local bars and shit in the area that are hosting. Because, again, that town's popping during this time.
Yeah.
So even if you're in Austin itself, you may be able to just get away. If you can't get into South by Southwest,
just drive down there.
Just drive down there. Or not even that. Call or find out who the manager of bars are, send them your shit and say, hey, we'd like to book. If you have any availability, we'd like to book to perform at your thing during March 8th through the 16th. Don't say it's South by Southwest. I'm sure they might make the connection, but maybe they won't. Yeah. And you might get lucky and trick somebody into signing a deal where you can come perform for either for free. And that could be your pitch too, is when they want to talk numbers, maybe just fucking be like, hey, we'll just do it for free. We'll just come out for free. Because you might be able to get, and then send out all your hashtag Austin, Texas and all your shit, South by Southwest and all your posts promoting it.
Yeah.
Maybe you can get some assholes to come out. And then,
I mean, if you were a venue owner as well, like
that's true.
If you, a venue owner or a bar owner and you have the space available to you, and I mean, shit, this has got to be the hottest point of the year for local business, right? So if you're keen enough, I mean, shit, maybe you take advantage and start kind of surveying what's happening in the music scene just in general. And you start like for the bands, or just the stuff that you enjoy, not necessarily like the cream of the crop, but just rising bands. And you just start reaching out to them like, hey, I got a space here, fucking in. I mean, it's not South by Southwest directly, but you'll be around it, and maybe just by the nature of everybody wanting to drink and go out to shows, like we can have like a mutually beneficial relationship that you'll have. You'll be live music, you'll be out here performing, and maybe people will come and see you perform. And
all right, so to that point, okay, so I don't remember what this thing was called. There's a donut shop that's in Austin, and it's this like super hyped up specialty donut store. They make all these crazy fucking donuts, and it was delicious. The line was out the door and around the block. Pretty much, we were there for a convention. It wasn't South by Southwest, obviously. It was like the Rooster Teeth convention.
Yeah,
which drew a lot of people, but that town in general is kind of a party town. And Friday and Saturday night every week, they shut down their main street. It's like the Gaslight District or whatever, Gaslamp District in San Diego.
Yeah.
It's all bars.
Gaslighting District.
Is that what's called? Gaslight?
Gaslamp,
or no, red light. Gaslamp, right?
Gaslamp,
yeah, Gaslamp. Yeah. Gaslight District.
Getting gas. Yeah.
Where they tell you you're doing great and just, fucking we're really not though. Fucking so they shut down everything for all the streets are shut down, and it is just walk around and get fucked up drunk. I mean, dude, I'm telling you, thousands of people at this fucking, just a regular Friday and a Saturday night for them.
Yeah.
So this donut store was in that realm or whatever.
Right.
And so again, the line out because it's pretty famous. I forget the fucking name is, but fuck them, they ain't paying us, so I ain't plugging them in. I'm not gonna look it up. So they were around the corner, the line. But when we got inside, there was a ton of unused fucking space inside this donut store. And if they were on it, if they had some foresight, you got all these assholes waiting in line. All these bars are blasting music and shit and having bands and shit. If you utilize that space, and you don't even have to put in a stage, you could just have the space and just let a band occupy it and tell them, hey, you guys come, we'll pay you $100.
Give you some free.
We'll give you a bunch. All you can eat donuts.
Yeah.
And you guys plug on your social media to all your dumb fans, and they'll show up and get donuts and say, hey, if you fucking mention, whatever the band's
XYZ
name,
band, yeah,
you'll get a 10% discount or 20%, whatever the fuck you want to do. And you could generate a shit ton of business. And you're also, as a byproduct, helping this band because you are the donut store is the draw. Let's just be honest.
Yeah. Yeah.
But this band is also going to benefit from that because people are going to wait in line anyways, and they'll hear some music that they might enjoy. And then you're going to get an added benefit of their fans that may not have wanted to come out to your donut store. You're still going to draw in more people.
Yeah, and the longer you're there, the more likely somebody's going to buy something.
Yeah, exactly. So even if they're in there dicking around and you open it up and just have, a little floor area, and you maybe have because they could have probably fit 40 or 50 people in that area. And yeah, if you get a small band that's not like super huge, especially during South by Southwest, it's some other band from like out of state, you're going to have people lining out the door. You're doing it anyways. You're providing them with entertainment while they're waiting and making their experience that much better.
Yeah.
So even if the band's not that good, they're still going to remember, oh man, you remember that donut store I went to and they had these awesome donuts and this fucking live band playing. And I remember we thought the band was garbage and we fucking were talking shit the whole time.
Yeah.
And then we threw a donut at them, whatever. I mean, who cares?
Yeah.
You could fucking generate so much shit for that, man.
And as awesome as that would be, I still think it's not worth it to go out there.
Just for that, no.
For that, fuck no. Like, and even just going to South by Southwest for just to hear that the submission fee is $200, you're making $50.
Well, remember, you were just breaking even. They raised it $100, so now you're coming out plus $100 if you get picked. Because before they just raised it because it was $250 for bands is what you got paid, and you got paid $100 for. Or no, they only raised it 50 because because it was $200 for bands and $100 for solo artists.
Yeah.
So now if you're a band, you're getting $250, so you're covering the cost.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're a solo act, you're still in the hole.
Yeah.
Because you're only getting $150, so you're still $50 in the fucking hole.
Yeah.
Or $100. Wait, what did I say it was? $220. So you're $70 in the hole.
Yeah. So that just sucks. And it's just the idea of you're being showcased somewhere, right? Like somebody's going to showcase you somewhere, but that's not necessarily a guarantee that all these people are going to flock to you. I mean, sure, you might be a great band, but wherever you're being placed is for a reason. So assuming what we're talking about with some of the hotel rates on more of the premium days of South by Southwest, right?
Yeah.
Like you can't expect 1,000 or let's just say hundreds or 1,000 people to just walk by and see your shit, because everybody's gonna be over by like the main thing, like the main things, the main attractions. So for me, like I guess the way I would rationalize it, for the amount of money that you are spending to go out there, dude, you might as well just make a music video or
that is a good point.
Or you might as well just run TikTok ads for $3,000. Imagine what you could do for like, imagine how much more of an audience you can capture digital. Maybe that's, I don't know. Do you think there's a difference between?
Let me run the numbers real quick. Hold on.
Okay.
While you're talking about that, but that is a very good point about. So $100. So that'd be 30, right? 100 divided by 3,000 divided by 100 is 30, right? Yeah.
3,000. What?
Yeah. So 3,000 divided by 100. I'm not a math guy. Yeah, that's 30. Okay. So times 16,000 equals 480,000. Okay. So it's $100 to guarantee 16,000 views on TikTok. Okay, if you run an ad,
16,000 views.
You get 16,000 guaranteed 16,000 views. Minimum. That's minimum.
Not Instagram bullshit.
No, Instagram. No, because in my experience, I've never done a 16,000 one, but every one that I've done has exceeded the number, and the minimal number for whatever was always, let's say the one video I did was like 12. It was like 1,200 views. I got like 5,000 on it. Views on one. Okay. So it's always, it's never gone below the minimum. Not like Instagram, okay, where they horse shit and lie to you. It's real. Okay. The TikTok one, at least the China Spy app, at least is straight up with you, okay? I give them that. I respect them for that.
Yeah.
So if you spent $3,000 on TikTok ads, you would get 500,000 fucking people of views guaranteed.
That's way better than going to South by Southwest.
That's way more people that would see you. You might get 30 people that show up and see you and listen to your shit, or none.
Right? Yeah.
This guarantees that 500,000 people are going to at least look at or see your fucking whatever you're promoting.
And most people would, I mean, if anybody's paying attention to music, more than likely they're going to be looking out for you anyways.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, it'd be a luxury to go out to South by Southwest to experience the music live and all that horse shit, right? But 500,000 views, dude, you can't.
Well, let's be honest, too. That's just if you're doing their basic, like their combined package thing deals or whatever.
Yes.
So if you were to maybe hit them up and try to get a custom a plan, you might be able to get even more views for that $3,000. Because, you could spend $116 30 times, Or you could just send their TikTok sales an ad, or not an ad, I'm sorry, an email, and then be like, hey, I got $3,000. How many views can you get me or give me for that $3,000? They might say, shit, we'll get you $1 million for that. Who the fuck knows?
Yeah, imagine if you can do that sustained over an entire year. Like,
oh, yeah.
$3,000, you run something every month. Like,
that's like one every 3 weeks. Because if you did, 2 weeks, maybe 30 times a year, it's like a little less than, little more,
twice,
2.5 weeks.
2.5 weeks.
Yeah. It's like one ad every 2.5 weeks, you're paying $100.
Yeah.
If you spread that out over 12 months.
You would constantly be barraging people.
You're constantly getting 16,000 views.
Yeah.
Plus and then
that makes more sense.
That'll put your stock in the algorithm higher as well.
Yeah.
Because then again, if you go by the laws of 10%, as I think we've talked about it on here. So you get 16,000 views. That means you're going to get minimally 1,600 likes.
Yeah. And
then you're minimally going to get 160 people to go download your album off of that.
Yeah.
And if you're selling your album for $9.99, that's $160. You only spent $100. Shit, you're coming out $60 in the green.
Yeah. I think in defense of South by Southwest, I don't think you can rob yourself of going for the experience as a band. Like, if you want to go out there and you feel like you have to do it or you want to do it, fucking go do it. Don't live with any regrets. So just go ahead and do it. And maybe my skepticism about meeting people, because I don't know, man. I really don't have what's the phrase I want to use here? Not everybody's as good as their word.
Yeah.
If you go out there and somebody tells you, oh man, you guys are great, like, let's figure out, like,
especially in the entertainment industry, there's a lot of bullshit artists.
Yeah.
Probably a lot more bullshit artists than there are actual real
straight up people.
Yeah. And you are going to run into bullshit artists for sure.
Yeah. And but then again, like, I think shit, maybe sending yourself out there, you might meet the right people. Like, you might meet your manager, you might meet a record label that's interested in you. You might meet your homies, like your next bandmates, or that's like, never mind. I take that back. Maybe you meet your community of people that extends beyond your home city. So you find a band that you find a common thread between the two of you. Like, maybe you build relationships with people there, and that's something you can't really translate online. I mean, sure, maybe a little bit, like you send people DMs, they're like, oh, I love your music and all that shit, but I don't think there's any denying that the first person experiences with people, like, you can't put a price on that, and that's not something that is one-to-one versus digital, and doing that in real persons or in real life, I suppose. So I think for those aspects, like, yeah, but I'm still kind of pressed on saying that running $3,000 worth of ads, like, just makes more sense.
Yeah.
It makes more sense to me.
And here's another thing that's maybe another side tangent about South by Southwest itself, but shit just pisses me off like this, because I get it that you're trying to, because it's $995 to go for a regular person ticket to get into this event, right? If you want to buy a ticket,
that's as much as Coachella, and that's actually the exact same thing. It's 2 weekends, so I'm guessing you get one weekend if you purchase the ticket. You just don't get both, or maybe you do.
For South by Southwest, you get everything. You get
everything.
Yeah,
okay,
for the $995, you get access to all 7 or whatever days, which is good. That's a fairly good deal, because if you break it down by day, that's like $120 a day ish. So that's not that big of a deal. But one of the things that gets me is they have this, and this is the shit that's the gimmicky marketing promotion fucking type bullshit. And this is like the early career badge discount. So it's basically a thing where they're telling you, oh, we're going to give you a 30 to 40% discount. And it's depending upon probably where you are or what company you work for. If you work for a major company, you're probably gonna get that 40%. But if you're from an independent label and you're just kind of starting out your career and you want to go, but they're billing this ticket as, oh, it's a discount, and man, you can come and network and do all these things, right? But none of that's fucking guaranteed. None of that opportunity is going to happen for sure. So they're just kind of marketing to you to hype you up, to sell you this ticket by calling it the early career. Oh, you want to get a jump start? It literally says, oh, you want to get a jump start in your career? all right, now you're fucking kind of selling a bill of goods with that. And that kind of irks me a little bit. And I get it. They're marketing it, but you don't got to call it that. Just call it.
It's not even a promise. It's not even
Yeah.
a promise that you'll meet the right people. I mean, sure, they're providing the playground, but you have to do the work still.
Right.
Yeah.
And even sure, giving a discount to people, I mean, I guess that's cool, I guess, right? But
Still more money out of your own pocket.
it is if you're especially if you're new into the industry and maybe you
Mm.
don't fucking have $700 or whatever that 30% discount would come out to off of that, and maybe $700 to still pay for a ticket to go,
Yes.
plus the hotel, plus the air, plus all that horse shit. You know, you're spending $1,500 to $2,000 on this, regardless, just to go to attend it.
Mm.
You know, because if you're going to be there for the whole 7 days, you're going to have to pay for fucking a week worth of, you know, which, listen, if you're going to go as an industry fucking person and get your early career badge, you might as well be there for 7 days and try to make the maximization of your efforts.
Yes.
So if you're going to do that, you're going to spend even more fucking money. And really at the end of it, even though you may fucking come out and bust ass and try to fucking do shit, you might come out with nothing at the end of that.
Yeah.
And to kind of market that towards people in that realm, it just seems predatory, I guess. And
It does.
I don't like that.
It does. And quickly to note, Spotify does something exactly the same, where they promise more visibility
Uh-huh.
to promote an artist. Like maybe your numbers are they're all right.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, maybe for a little bit more of your royalties, we'll boost you up and have you more visibly on the platform itself. We'll put pop-up ads and remind people to listen to your music. But that's still money out of your pocket. It's like you're paying to play.
Well, yeah, if they're taking an extra 5%,
Yeah.
what are they really how many ads are they really gonna fucking run? You know what I'm saying?
Who the fuck knows? Who the fuck
And
knows?
that's why I think the advertising aspect of this kind of shit, I think doing stuff on TikTok,
makes sense. Yeah.
it makes more sense because you know what you're getting,
Yeah.
and you're getting it. And that's the bottom line.
Yeah.
As opposed to these other things where, you pay 5% of your royalties, but you don't know how much they're going to actually do. Oh, what are they going to put it up on 100 people's fucking things? You know how many motherfuckers go to Spotify?
Yeah. Imagine like how many times they do that with multiple artists that are gullible enough to do that. Like that 5% multiplied times like 1 million times. If people are willing to do it. Oh man. I don't want to say they're going to make gangbusters, but I mean, for Spotify not being profitable, maybe that's how they make a little bit of extra change.
Well, and then it would be to their benefit if they thought an artist was good and they signed up for that deal to pay it. Then they'll promote them more than someone who's paying the same percentage of their royalties for the same thing, you know?
Yeah.
So then it becomes a matter of fairness, I guess. Even it's like, well, we're paying for the same shit, but you're promoting them more. Well, that's horse shit. So I don't know. That's fucking garbage. But
yeah, so shit. I mean, there's people that are vehemently protesting South by Southwest because I think they're taking advantage of artists. And you know what? Like to some degree, I kind of think yes, because I mean shit, they're getting paid basically just enough to recover the money that they spent on the submissions, right? And they're coming out on their own money, and maybe they get a nice little audience or they meet the right people, but I don't know. They're just providing the playground. Maybe you get lucky and get something out of it, but
sure,
not for $3,000, dude.
Not for $3,000, man. Fuck that.
TikTok just makes more sense.
It does. So, man. All right. I think that's pretty much.
You got anything else you wanted to add?
On that topic, no, I don't think so. I think we pretty much covered everything. I mean, I will just say, to reiterate, I do think that if you have the opportunity to travel together as a cohesive unit, as a band, I think it's, and I don't want to say that it's good team building because that's a really fucking stupid corporate fucking way of saying it. And I hate that shit.
Yeah.
But you need to know what you guys are fucking made of. And if you haven't traveled together and you haven't gone the distance in a car with someone, that's when you really get to know a motherfucker. It's when you drive in a car for fucking 14 to 24 hours together. Then you get to know if you can handle being around them in this capacity. And I think it's an important test that every band should put themselves through.
Right.
Especially in the beginning, because if you are maybe not sure, you guys are in the honeymoon phase, because fuck, man, being in a band, that's what it is. You get together with some people, you guys make some good songs. You're in that like honeymoon phase and you feel like you're untouchable. But if you guys are going to go somewhere, I think it's important that you know and understand that you can fucking stand the test of time. and you can fucking battle through fucking going on the road, because
It's basically like marriage.
yeah, it's worse because there's even more shit involved with that. If there's
Money,
there's money,
business.
there's business, there's the responsibilities of each band member. And I mean, obviously, some people feel as though certain members of bands don't contribute as much to the band itself. So then you've got that aspect going on. There's all kinds of crazy shit, I guess. And this is all coming from me not having ever been in a band, but fuck, whatever. I know some things.
Yeah.
All right.
So before we end, I thought we could listen to a song.
Oh hell yeah! What do you want?
For a group that I think is interesting? They're from Norway.
Ooh.
And they call their music death pop.
Oh man, that sounds good.
Yeah. So I thought it'd be cool to introduce you to them and see what you think. Because I think this might be right up your alley. So
Oh fuck yeah!
if anybody's willing to stick around for this episode and just check out this group, they're called Blood Command.
Blood. Let me type it in the old fucking iTunes machine here. Blood. Oh fuck! I spelled command wrong. Blood Command. I love that. That's a good name.
Yeah.
Not as good as Poverty of Content, but
Poverty of Content. Yeah. We'll find a purpose for that yet.
Albums. Fuck. Maybe that's the name of the band in the movie that we fucking
Poverty
made,
of Content. Yeah.
dude. And then maybe that's the name of the fucking movie, Poverty of Content. And it's like a mockumentary type deal.
Some like Spinal Tap shit.
Yeah. Oh man, that'd be cool as shit. All right.
Let's see.
Oh man, already some of these names fucking I sound amazing. Rabbit Whore is their top song on here.
I'm trying to find
Control Alt Delete. There's one called Cult Drugs. Quitters Don't Smoke.
Okay, so the song that I want to listen to is called "The Plague on Both Your Houses."
All right, that sounds awesome. Let's see. What album is it on?
It's on that World Domination,
the
one.
newest one.
I kind of like this because it kind of reminds me of Jack Kirby, like the.
Oh
book
yeah,
art.
man, that's some good art right there. That's
Yeah.
that's like a little psychedelic fucking metal melt your face fucking.
It's just cool. Like I don't know how else to describe it. Like it's great coloring.
Yeah, it is.
Whatever figures they got going on there is I don't know.
It's pretty legit. I like this.
Yeah, so it's called "The Plague
All right, so
on Both Your Houses."
if you guys want to,
stick around and
Well-
look up the music yourself,
yeah,
and
we're going to talk about it obviously too. So don't just end the episode here, whatever if you
Yeah.
want to hear us. But yeah, all right. So this will be what is this band called? Blood Command. This is "The Plague on Both Your Houses" by Blood Command off the album World Domination. All right, so that was "The Plague on Both Your Houses" by Blood Command off the album World Domination. And to quote or to channel Paris Hilton, that was hot.
that was hot.
That was fucking hot, man.
Yeah. So when I found this group, the first thing that immediately, because I looked through a bunch of music, right?
Yeah.
But I think there's a situation when a band has their art on point and the music's on point. Like
Yeah.
the art, I saw the art. I'm like, all right, I gotta check this out. I'm like, if the art is as good as I believe it is,
Then
the music has to be just as good.
Just as good.
and it turns out it was. So
Yeah.
it's like you're never really steered wrong when you like the album art of something, and then you find out the music is just as good. And this is one of those bands. I'm just like, this is fucking cool. And
Yeah,
yeah.
it slaps, as Adam says, man. It is fucking good. That fucking and also what caught me off guard is because when you said it was Swedish metal, I thought it was just gonna be Norway, whatever the fuck you said. Fucking Nordic, some kind of fucking northern European fucking metal. I thought it was gonna be some of that shit, which again I love that too.
Yeah.
But it's there's a female vocalist,
Yeah.
and man, I am a sucker for fucking female vocalists when it comes to any sort of heavy or hard fucking metal.
Yeah.
I just feel, not to say that the male equivalents are bad, but
Yeah.
I just feel like the female vocalists have a better control of their vocal fucking range, and they can just, I don't know, I feel like they can belt it out, and then they can harmonize, and then they can, do that low end fucking sound too. It's like, god damn, they're just so good. And this lady, I don't know who she is, but man, top notch.
I like. Shit. I love the chunky riffs.
Yeah, those are sweet too.
The chunky riffs. The fact that this chick is just like screaming her lungs out, and then when it gets to like the bridge portion of the song, she sings more melodically or mellifluously. It's a nice little juxtaposition there.
Yeah, it is.
She could do both.
And then they did this thing in there where they dropped everything except for just the crunchy that was real low.
Yeah.
And I feel like that was the metal equivalent of the DJ dropping the beat.
Yeah.
And that was fucking cool. It was like in the first third of the song, and it was perfectly timed when they did it too. Because I was like, you're just about to get it, and then they just and it just goes, and you're like, oh fuck, like it just resets everything.
Yeah.
And just fucking went perfectly. I don't know. I loved it.
And they call themselves Death Pop. I imagine maybe because
Death Pop.
Maybe because of death metal. Like they're
combining death metal and
like
pop, I guess. Yeah.
Like, that's what I think, maybe, but I could be totally wrong. But nonetheless, just a very cool band from Norway. So if we do have followers from Norway, I'm just letting you know, I do pay attention from all corners of the world to hear music. And, you know, I was lucky enough to come across this group from Norway. I forgot what specific part, but nonetheless, very cool. And that'd be a cool way to close the show out. So
yeah, and that was fucking sweet. And you know, if you do fucking add them to your playlist and you decide to follow them on Instagram, you know, send them a shout out and say you heard about them on the Game Rage Music Podcast. You know, let them know.
Yeah, hell yeah,
that we're talking about them. And same thing goes for anybody else that we fucking talk about too. Let them know that you heard about them here on the Game Rage Music Show.
Yes,
and then you know, help us out a little.
Yeah, brother.
Yeah, brother.
Hell yeah, brother.
Hell yeah, brother. Anyways, fuck, man. See, Adam. I don't know if South by Southwest is gonna get us to an hour, man. And I love saying that because I said I don't know either, man. But man, every time we do that, we always fucking hit the goal.
Yeah,
fucking did it. Mission fucking accomplished.
Yes.
So with that, we thank you all for listening.
Call that shit a wrap.
Yeah, it's over. So you know what to do. Follow us on the shit. Do whatever you want.
Yeah,
we will
give your balls a tug.
Yeah, give your balls a fucking massive tug. And No Nut November's over, so fucking have at it.
Get your nut.
Get your nut and have a good day. All right. Well, thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you on the next one.
That was the Game Rage Music Show. Thanks for listening.